Hello and welcome back to Nader's Nook, my personal corner on the internet. In my Nook of the internet today, we're going to be printmaking. I was really inspired by the month of February. I hope you enjoy seeing my progress and how I develop these prints from start to finish. Now let's jump into the video. So this is my sketchbook and this is the spread I did just to brainstorm ideas that surround February because Valentine's Day is in this month. So the whole theme was Valentine's Day, hearts, love. I was playing around with a few ideas such as cherubs, mermaids, birds, knights, and hearts, obviously. My sketchbook generally looks like this, lots of ideas, some studies, notes, and all that good stuff. One of my friends, Shay, she says that her sketchbook is sort of like a launch pad for her drawings, and I would say the same about my own sketchbook. This is a place to dump all my ideas. This page, as you can see, that is all me trying to understand how and what I want to draw. Just playing around with form, design, and placement. Once I had more of a concrete idea of what I wanted to draw and later on print, I scanned my sketchbook and then I started cleaning up the design digitally. In my past work, I have included cherubs, original baby cherubs, but also Teletubby cherubs. It's just a small part of a bigger body of work that I have going on with a theme. I'll explain more in another video. Basically what I wanted was just a cherub holding a heart and then a curse word in it. I ended up taking the curse word out and just putting gross. Putting gross in a gothic font was a pain. Writing script in printmaking is just not my favorite, but you gotta do what you gotta do because how else will you make progress on it? So this design was spontaneously brought on by my brother. I was explaining my plans about this video and he offhandedly said something about a knight and I instantly had this idea of a knight with a heart shield. So boom, here is the heart knight. Also, I tend to do more work on the actual plate. If the designs look very bare bone, that's why. Side note, I'm so excited for Shay's February sticker club. It's also a knight. This idea started off as just a bird and a heart, but then I had this idea of a silly goose, but instead it would be a lovely goose because he has a love letter. Also, it's Valentine's Day, so lovely goose. Lovely Valentine's Day. You get it. I'm a silly goose myself, so it's only fitting. Also, I wanted to do a bit more with positive space compared to all my other designs that I did so far. Quick disclaimer, please do not put your fingers in front of the carving tools. I know I do it in this video, I shouldn't, but do not use me as an example because you could hurt yourself and it's not fun. I promise it's not fun. So my history with printmaking actually starts in high school. I think this is around 2017. In my portfolio class, we had to try every medium that we had access to, and printmaking was one of them. The first ever print I did was, I think, 3 lilies. It was a good first introduction, and obviously at the time, I was just testing out the medium. Fast forward to my community college days, I think this is around 2018, 2019. I took another printmaking class at the college level, and I actually had access to a professional studio and all the supplies. In this class, I felt like I was challenged more than I was in my first introduction back in high school. It was college, so the stakes were higher. I learned a lot, and especially with the final project of this class because we were supposed to work big. I think my final printmaking project, my final print was 4 feet by 4 feet. I know it was like really big. I think this time in college, like this specific time, is what got me in my love for working for big projects. Up at this point, I was interested in printmaking, but I wasn't taking it as seriously until I went to UCF and took a printmaking class over there. So now 2021 through 2022, I think, I took a printmaking class, and this is where it finally clicked for me that this was the medium that I would like to keep working on and incorporate into my art practice. I really think I finally started putting out the work that I was really proud of, and it led me to the art that I make today, and also that big theme of work that I was going on about. In this time, I also realized that not everything I need to make has to be realism. In my art journey, I've always leaned towards drawing realism, and in my printmaking work, I actually started doing more graphic elements. 3 of my UCF professors told me I have a graphic style. It was printmaking, painting, and then another printmaking class. That was my printmaking journey. So now to today, in the year 2025, my printmaking work is definitely more stylized and does have that graphic element to it. I actually love that my work has that look to it, and I really think that the development of my printmaking has influenced my style and how I approach art today. Printmaking actually has a huge influence on my life and how I make art. I am someone that deals with mental illness, anxiety to be more specific. I feel like in a majority of my life, I need to have a plan, or in this case, plan out an entire art piece that I'm developing. Every detail, every step, every little everything needs to be in place. I would spend a lot of time in my head more than anything. Overall, lots of overthinking. After I started taking printmaking more seriously and including it more in my art practice, I realized that printmaking was not meant to be perfect. Printmaking is a medium that is meant to embrace mistakes, or at the very least, find a creative way around said mistake. Printmaking is meant to look handmade. Yes, one could plan and antagonize over details, getting those perfect lines and curves, but as one baddie said, perfection is just an end to pursuit. I still am a person that gets stuck in my head and around details of anything and everything, but I think I realized that I can't be perfect. It's impossible, and therefore making flawless art also not a possibility. I think the key for me was to embrace being innately flawed. That's just what being human is. Embracing mistakes or just the human experience is the key, at least for me. People tend to think that their art needs to be perfect, straight lines, aspects that are devoid of human error. The whole printmaking experience is to be made having that human touch, slightly imperfect design, markings that a human made this, all that I am and everything that I'm not, my flaws, my strengths, everything put into the medium that I love. In the past recent months, mostly in the second half of the year of 2024, I got it in my head that I needed to incorporate more of a story behind my art, or just to make more narrative in general. I thought it was a cool aspect of other people's art, and I wanted that in my own art. The problem is that I get stuck in my head and I tend to obsess over things. Mental illness, isn't it, love? My mental health and my art go hand in hand, so that's the main reason why I don't draw every day. So I got stuck in my head and started analyzing people's art. The good side to this was that as I was looking at other people's art, a lot of what I gravitated towards was art that was slightly imperfect. Lines that were slightly wobbly, just slightly messy line art. It was always art that had some aspect of human in them. And I know what you're thinking. Nader, if not a huge majority of art is made by humans. Yeah, well, AI is on the rise, and it's here, so yeah. I wanted to stylize art. I want some sort of humanity. You know, back from the quote from earlier, perfection is just an end to pursuit, Victor from Arcane. This quote, the past months, along with AI showing up, has made me realize that embracing my imperfect art, that slight sign that a human being made this, is important to me. In a world with robots and AI just crammed in every single digital thing, I think it all came together to really embrace my imperfections, whether it be a messy sketchbook, the struggle I still have with digital art, or changing perspective and goals. I feel like now, after the ending of 2024, where I was stuck with my wanting a narrative in my work, it got me stuck in a slightly different way around my ideas and creativity. Now, I don't have a bad relationship with my art. It's more like I think I excel in the technical part of art, but when it comes to creativity, I think I lack in that area. I think what's different this time around about embracing my art is that before I cared about how my art would be perceived by others, low-key kind of scared about sharing my art. But now it's more like I'm having fun embracing making art that I want to see. If the work I'm gravitating towards is slightly messy, then yeah, I might as well just not think too much about how good my line art should be and just do it. I gotta be brave and make the art that I want to see in the world. I think because of this, I am making more art and low-key pressing share and just like skedaddling out of Instagram as fast as I can. To add to this, I think embracing experimentation in my art is also helpful. I actually gave gouache another chance, acrylic gouache to be more specific. If you've been in my corner of the internet before and seen some of my videos, you know that acrylic is my enemy, but we have like an enemies to friends trope kind of going on. Slowest burn ever. I've been experimenting and seeing what I can achieve with gouache, and I actually prefer it over the water-based gouache, which, sound the alarm, am I an imposter? Me loving acrylic? Whoa! And because I was messing around with it and decided to randomly and spontaneously make a painting in my sketchbook, it turned out way better than I would have expected. I did finish a piece in my sketchbook, and now I'm like, whoa, I feel so powerful. Now that I have a new medium to add to my sketchbook, this is great because now I have more color. And I think my goal to experiment and just be more open to failure, just seeing what could happen, is advancing me in a more creative way. Okay, so speaking of this, I am currently working on a character design challenge video. In past videos, I've mentioned my goal for this year was to try and challenge myself to do more character design. It's something I would like to work on, and it's actually coming together very well. It's gonna be turning me and my bestie Will into mice characters traveling through their fantasy world. I'm actually impressed with myself because I think if I didn't have that moment of like, I need to not think as much and just make art, I can't achieve perfection, so I shall change my perspective and strive to make my creativity show more. Working on developing my ideas and bringing them to light and sharing it with people will take me much farther than chasing perfection to a dead end. That Victor quote has me in a chokehold, literally changed my perspective on art. So I ended up making 6 prints in total, 2 of each design. 3 of the prints will stay originals with no more work done on them, and the other half I experimented with by coloring on top with other materials. I ended up using gouache for the lovely goose, Copic markers, Prismacolor pencils for the cherub with a heart, and lastly, the heart knight. And lastly, for the heart knight, I used Copic markers. I ended up not using the cherub in my sketchbook. I think I just preferred the other designs and the fun backgrounds I did. It was only natural to stick these in my sketchbook with some glue, and at some point I'll add more around the pages that I stuck these prints in. If you made it to the end of this video, I just wanted to say a big thank you. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. I'm working on some other videos right now, so hopefully I can get those out sooner rather than later. If anyone wants to see any more of my art, I do have an Instagram. It'll be linked down below, but it's also the same name as this YouTube channel, Nader's Nook. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.